Alright, it's cold, but we out here, man, this morning. So we seen what Shakur Stevenson did to Teofimo Lopez. What are all those, dirty tricks that Teo came up with? What happened to them joints? That's the number one question. What happened with all those tricks that they was learning in the gym? He was talking about hip hitting, being dirty on the inside. I'm gonna say this, Shakur said something after the fight, and I think he said that he brought it up before the fight, is that his jab, people was gonna say after this fight, he had the best jab in boxing. And, simply, watching film, I watch people break down this fight, Tim Bradley, Chris Algieri, a few of these guys, and I'm really starting to, maybe because I was watching clips and I ain't watching this totality of Algieri and I seen Tim Bradley. Ain't nobody talk about the jab. The jab was the determining factor it's how you beat Shakur Stevenson. The jab is how you beat Shakur Stevenson. Obviously with some other attributes, he is susceptible to getting clipped with straight punches. That it is susceptible for him to get clipped with straight punches. And once you watch people, how they move, this is why he don't mind fighting Tank. Because Tank don't throw a jab. Just watch the guys that he fight. You know what I'm saying? The majority of the guys he fights, especially the Hispanics, they don't throw a jab. Casiaco, he throw a lot of wild shit. He not fighting guys that throw a jab. So if you really thinking about he fight Abdullah Mason, to keep it real with you, the issue with Abdullah Mason is he got a good jab. And let me say this first and foremost. There's a lot of Hispanic fighters, when I see them throw a jab, it's beautiful. David Benavidez used the jabs, one of the best jabs in boxing. Canelo uses jabs, one of the best jabs in boxing. Moratella, the only reason Raymondo Moratella really beat Andy Cruz, the jab, it controlled Andy Cruz. Cruz for a minute was able to come forward and land some shit here and there. You know what I'm saying? He was able to come forward and land some shit here and there. But in reality, the jab is why Shakur Stevenson won this fight. The lack of Teo jab, the lack of Teo throwing the right hand. Teo, somebody brought it up before the fight. I think Malik Scott brought it up before the fight. Teo, it don't make no sense to him have his lead hand down versus southpaw. Because the gap is there. Like when you fight a southpaw, he like this and you lead, y'all both like this. So why would you if y'all this close to y'all lead hands are very close to each other, why would you how can you defend the jab? You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of, you can just tell his dad didn't say nothing in the corner. It was a lot wrong. And Shakur Stevenson is very, very beatable. It's just that, to be honest with you, the guys that he fighting, they picking guys who don't have a jab. And to be realistically, too many guys got a jab. This is why he don't want to fight O'Shaquie Foster. And not saying that he won't beat O'Shaquie Foster, but he understands fighting O'Shaquie Foster, he gonna be fighting somebody that speak his language. It ain't gonna be a sexy fight at all. But he fighting somebody that speak his language. But in the fight, I knew it. I told y'all, bruh. Niggas talking, the top plus 230 on Teo look good. Like, nigga, dog. Anybody, I watch film, and you go watch the film on the Patreon. Dog, if you don't, that's why Teo need the guys to close the gap on him, because he don't use a jab. He need to be jab dominant. And then he jump off his feet. He makes so many technical errors, bro. If anything, if they was working on closing that gap versus Teo, you can't just walk closing the gap on Shakur, you can't walk him down. You can't just walk him down. He gonna pivot out. He gonna jab or feint to get you off your spot. And he gonna either go, throw punches, throw that jab, or get out of there, or spin out of there. So you can't walk him down without a jab. He had to come in there with a very dominant jab. And you got to come with different jabs. Some, a power jab to start off, a double jab, feint the jab, come with the right hand, a 1-2. This nigga didn't even throw a 1-2. And when Teo throw his 1-2s, he like throw a 2 and then come over the top. It ain't gonna work with Shakur Stevenson. When the Shakur get clipped with good shots, yeah, he can get clipped with a looping shot here, but he started to get clipped when you start to throw straight punches. Why didn't Williams pay to win the fight? He didn't throw a jab. He didn't throw it. You can't just throw the little bullshit jab Teo was throwing last night. It got to be a true, not even a rangefinder, not even that flicking shit motherfuckers throw. It got to be a true, either you got to be a true power jab or true piston-like jab. And guarantee you, once you start jabbing them and getting the jab going to the body, hitting the jab in the chest, bro, you're going to catch him. His defense is really designed for him to defend hooks. You know, that's why he fight them Hispanic fighters, them non-jab fighters. You got to jab. That was the number one thing. If you're going to close the box gap, I guarantee get in there with somebody that can jab, bro. Y'all going to be like, bro, he really ain't that great a boxer. Like, it's all on the film. And I heard nobody mention it. All that shit is on the film. Double jab. You know, double jab, strong power jab. Throw a right hand right in there. You know, Keyshawn Davis will get that nigga a lot of problems because Keyshawn, Devin, they one of the last few, you know, jab dominant guys there. Let me say this before I forget. Shout out to Brian Norman Sr. and his son being there at the fight together. You know, you always gonna see me advocating for black men to, you know, to stick together. You know, I'm one of them dudes. I'm not a Boston Celtics fan, but I'm advocating. I don't want to see Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown break up. I'm a Piston fan. I don't want to see it. I want to see these productive brothers win. Shout out to him. The business in your father is totally different. Your father got you knockout of the year. Your father got you to a title. But, you know, Shakur, of course he can do what he want to do. Fighting Shakur without a jab is like, you know, for opponent fighting him without a jab, that's people warning him of walking across the freeway about getting hit, but the freeway shut down. Ain't nobody on the freeway. You ain't beating them. No matter if you come with the body shots, you ain't beating him without a jab. And then you ain't beating him without a two. I wish George Foreman was alive to call this fight. He'd say the same shit that I'm saying. Everybody know it. And you're hearing like Sergio Moore, they don't even know what they talking about on TV. Sergio, well, I agree when he said I wouldn't aim for the head, but if you had a jab, you could. Because he got to defend that jab. He got to get off that spot. That way, when you get him up, when you throw that jab, you can start feinting that jab. You can start throwing lead right hands with that jab. Then you can start hooking off that. The gap is going to get close because it freezes you. And when they stop respecting the jab and he stop respecting the jab, that's when you drop the two on him. That's when you turn the jab into a hook. That's when you feint the jab, go to the body and throw the right hand. The jab starts everything. He's fundamental. He's fundamental. All that other shit he can see coming. If I know ain't nothing coming here, that's why he can pick your shots off like that and move out the way. Look at his vision. He ain't got to worry about it. You throwing that jab, he like, you know, but you throw a jab at a nigga vision, he can't see. He got to get off the line. And once you able to consistently make a move off that line, and a lot of the fighters move the same way, you can throw that hook, then come with that right hand. You can double jab, cut the distance off, drop that right hand, get inside, pow, go to the hooks. I see. Telling y'all, bruh. Telling y'all, dog, these niggas out there, man, they need to be a certification for you to be a coach, bruh. Niggas need to be certified to be a coach. Niggas need to be certified, bro. Double. They was doing this little, like, bro, they should have been in camp, stepping with it. They should have been in camp double. You know what I'm saying? That triple G power jab. You step into that jab. That's what he should have came out doing. Boom. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna really, they was trying to punch with him. They ain't gonna punch with a coward. He don't throw a lot of punches to punch with him. Shakur punches when he's safe. He wait for these niggas to work, and then you know what I'm saying? Punches when it's safe. You create danger all the time, you'll keep his hands home, bruh. You could have been jabbing to him, stabbing to the body. He got vision. That's why he like, oh my God. I was looking at that fight. And I knew T.O. didn't possess the corner. Especially when went to Eddie Reynoso. They don't understand that style. He don't have a corner. He don't have a motherfucking jab. He don't have a jab. He like to jump in with them Ken and Ryu hooks and jump off his feet. They ain't gonna work with Shakur Stevenson. They ain't gonna work. I wish George Foreman was allowed to call this fight, bro. But good win for Shakur Stevenson. But y'all notice he don't mind fighting Abdullah Mason because if Abdullah Mason uses jab, he'd have a great chance of beating Shakur Stevenson. The one guy, and I'm gonna tell you 3 guys that I can think of that'll beat Shakur Stevenson. Shockey Foster, I think can beat him. Devin Haney, because he's so jabbed. Devin don't throw a lot of punches, so niggas really don't want to see that fight. But Devin Haney, Keyshawn Davis. Now, you talk about Gervonta Davis, he would have to clip him in the first 4 rounds. I think, Tank arms short and Tank don't throw a jab. So in the first 4 rounds, if Tank wasn't able to pack him up, if Tank can have a camp where they can really teach Tank really the jab, I think Tank got a good jab. Really jab. If Tank jab and throw a right hand and really take his time, Tank has the ability, but he ain't gonna do that. So if it was the 5th, we all be drunk. So good performance by Shakur Stevenson. But if you ain't gonna bring no jab and a straight punch with you, you ain't got a chance, to be honest with you. Care who the fuck you is. You ain't got a chance. Hit the link in the description, join the Patreon, follow me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, all that side the link tree. It's the first link in the description. Check out the Fight Reaction playlist. Peace.